Hi, it's Jenny from Buggy Baby, and today I'm taking a look at the MyChild Roundabout 4-in-1 activity walker. You can use this from 6 months up until your child reaches 12k, so you'll get a good amount of use out of it. And there's various modes that you can have it in, so you can use it as a bouncer, you can use it as a walker, and it's also got a activity tray on it as well with toys that light up and moving parts on it. This retails at £99.99, and this is a really popular product that we stock at Buggy Baby. And when I get this out of the box, you'll see why. It's because you get such good value for money with all the different things you can do with it. So let's get the box open. You can see here it's quite a large size in the box. And let's take it out and see if we need to assemble anything. There we go, so that's how it comes, all packaged up. We can see here this is a plastic item. Let's put this out. Okay, so you can see straight away we have got lots of bits and pieces that look like they need to be put together. So I'm going to get all of this out, get the instructions, and we'll assemble it. Okay, so in front of me, you can see all of the parts that we have in the box here, and you can see that we have got some assembling to do. So I've got my screwdriver ready here because I can see a pack of screws. So we're definitely going to have to put quite a lot together here. So luckily, we've got the instructions here. And it tells us that to start off with, to assemble this, we need to get the legs on. So here are the legs. We have 3 of them. And from reading the instructions, it's telling me that the wider leg is the front leg, and these 2 are the rear. Right, so we're going to put the legs onto what will be the tray of the walker. And I can see this is going to be our front one, and here are the screw holes, so we need to get our screws ready, pop them in. So what I'm going to do, rather than you having to watch me very slowly screw all of these in, I am going to do this not on camera, and you can see here that these rear ones are just going to slot into place, and we're going to do the same thing. Find the screw holes, pop the screws in, screw it on, and then the first part of this assembly is done. So I'll come back to you in just a second. Okay, I've come back to you now with those screwed in, and now we're ready to put it onto the frame. So what they're telling you to do is to not push it down into place. You just insert them into the slots, make sure they're all in. There we go. Okay, right, and you can see here there's a little like button bit that you need to press in, and that will slot it down into the frame. Now I can see here these little bits, I think, are giving us 3 different positions to slot it into, so you can adjust the height very slightly. So we'll put it on the top one. So if I push this in, there we go, click it into place. Let's do that to all of them. So you're just pushing this whole thing in. Mind your fingers when you do it, click it into place. And again, so we're pushing the whole part in, not really just the button. This is actually just like the bit that catches onto the holes here to keep it in place. So push it in. There we go. Okay, so that's in place now. And next up on the instructions, we're going to put the wheels on. So we need to turn it upside down. And I'm going to get hold of all the wheels, and then we will pop them on. Before the wheels, it's telling us that there are anti-fall blocks that we need to put onto the bottom of the bouncer. That's obviously going to stabilise it for us. So here are the blocks that they're talking about, and we need to go round and pop them into these holes here. So here we go. There we are. They just pop into place. And and all the way around. And it does say you do need to have all of them on, and it tells you on the instructions here that you shouldn't be using the walker without all 8 of these attached. So they are an important part, not a bit that you can miss out. So on they go. Okay. Right, they're in place, and then we need to pop the wheels in. So here are our wheels. Okay, you can see that they twist and turn, which obviously you're going to need when your baby's using this as a walker. And we are going to pop these wheels into the corners, and they should just pop into place. There we go. All 4 corners. You give them quite a push to get them down. That's the same with the blocks. They need quite a push to get them into place. Right, there we go. Okay, right, I'm going to turn this upside down, and I think what we do next is put the toys on. Okay, so I've turned it upside down. We can see that the wheels are working as they should be. It's moving around nicely. And next up, we are going to attach the toys. So we need to pick out the right toys to put on first. So we need to get these parts and this. So it's like an ice cream and a lolly by the look of it. And let's find where they go on. So using the instructions, these ones look to go here. That look right? I think so. Pop it on. And then we've got our ice cream, which goes here. And then the lolly, and that goes. Okay. Right, next up on the instructions, we need to get the seat fabric and the ring in place. So here is the seat fabric, and this does come in other colourways actually, so you can get this in a slightly brighter colour like blues and yellows. And also while we're at it, MyChild do lots of different types of walkers, so they do all different kinds of designs. They do slightly different things, but you can get unicorn ones, you can get all sorts of different colours, all different designs, whether you buy them for a girl or for a boy, or you want more of a unisex one. There will be lots of choice for you with these walkers. Right, so anyway, back to this. This is the ring, and the ring should turn, I believe, once it's in. And we need to pop the material into the seat ring. Okay, so popping it into the ring, and it's telling me on the instructions I need to then pull the fabric over the ring. It's actually pretty fiddly, but something like that. And then if I turn it over, you've got these little parts here, which I think I thought were Velcro, but they're actually not Velcro. They're like little hook bits that you put on to these parts on the seat, if you can see here. So it's to keep it in place. So we'll go round, pop all of that on. It's a bit more fiddly as you go along, because you've got to kind of pull the fabric too. Right, okay. I'm not convinced, but I think that's right. So we now have the fabric on the ring, and if we check the instructions here, it tells us to insert that assembled seat into the walker body, pressing it down to ensure it clicks into place. Let's try it. Let's see. Okay. So here we go. Okay, I can hear a click. And it turns, so that's what we need it to do. Woo, I lost a little toy there. Pop that back on. Right, I think we're good with that. Okay, so next up we can see we have the sound tray, and I've undone the screw here, and then you kind of have to use a coin or something to get in it and make this part release so that you can pop the batteries in. So that is the batteries in, which means now the sound will work, as you can hear. And I'm sure you'll be hearing that in your dreams, as you will know if you've got children already and you've got toys that make these sorts of noise. They go on forever and they do get quite irritating, but your child will love it. So this is going to pop on here, and then next up is this little piece here that goes into place, and then these parts are going to go on here, and they look like they're going to twist round, so I'm quite sure I'm doing this right, but they should just slot in. There we go. Next one. Yeah, so they're going to twist round, make lots of noise. There you go. Right, while that continues with the music, we now need to secure the trays onto the underside of the walker. So if we have a look at that. Okay, so there's little parts here that you just wriggle around and it will secure your trays into place so that your child can't move them off, but obviously you can then adjust it and get them off yourself if you ever needed to. Say if you were deassembling it for, taking it apart for whatever reason, you could do that. This is the bouncer part. Okay, there you go. So this is going to go onto the bottom, and I think it's going to slot into place by the look of it. And again, this is obviously going to be removable, because once your child is not using the bouncer part and you want to use it more of a walker, you would just remove it, and you can store it, I think, as well. Here, according to the instructions, we'll be able to take this off and then store it away here. So if you could go between bouncer and walker if you wanted to. So with the bouncer plate, it's only going to be suitable for a certain amount of time for your child. It does say on the instructions here that if your child is too small or too big to stand with their legs straight, then the bouncer board is not suitable for your child and shouldn't use it. So here we can see in the diagrams, if they are too tall, their legs are going to be bent. If they're too small, they're going to be on tiptoes. They need to be standing straight with their feet flat on the board in order to use it. So that is the bouncer part of it. Okay, so we are all assembled. You can see immediately this is a large piece of kit, so you will need to have the storage room for this. Obviously, otherwise it's just going to be sitting in the middle of your room all the time. But again, if you've got children, that is the way life works. Once you've got kids, you've got lots of toys everywhere, so perhaps it wouldn't be a problem, but something to bear in mind that this is a large toy. So we can see, as we looked at before, that this twists round. So when your baby is in here, it means they're going to be able to move themselves around with their feet, and they can put themselves into any direction they want to be in, so they can play with all of the toys and all of the activities here. So this side, you can also, I haven't put batteries in this, but because I only just realised this, but you can put batteries into this tray as well. So this one will make all sorts of noises once you do that. These are not battery operated, these ones here. So this is just rattling around. You can push it about. And then we did put the batteries in this tray, because this is the one that was making all the melodies. And I think it just changes melody according to how many times they press on all of these toys. It does feel quite robust. It's moves around on the floor easily. It's going to be slightly harder on the floor to show you how it moves, because this carpet is not great for moving it around. But obviously if you've got a hard floor or softer carpet, it will move around much easier. And you can see there that if you took away the bouncer, your child, once big enough, are going to easily be able to walk themselves around. We've got no sharp edges at all on here, so it's not going to cause any damage to your walls or anything like that if they're bumping around on the walls. You can see here that you won't have any problems with it scuffing anything, so that's really good as well. Worth noting here that this material is not machine washable, so when you do want to clean it, obviously you can just remove it back off of the ring, and I would probably just use a damp, very lightly damp sponge with a tiny bit of cleaning detergent on it, maybe a bit of washing up liquid, something like that, and then you can just rub at the material to get it clean, but you definitely shouldn't be putting it in the washing machine. So as I said at the start, this is suitable from 6 months. It's going to take your child up until about 12k, and you really shouldn't put your child in there before 6 months, because this seat is not going to offer them enough support to keep them upright enough, so they do need to be quite sturdy before you can pop them in there. Now, my thoughts on the walker. I really like these walkers. As I said at the start, they're really, really good sellers with us, and that is because you get quite a lot for your money in terms of it being a bouncer, and then you can take the bounce bit off and convert it to a walker, which, you know, you get a 2-in-1 product, which is great. And as well as that, you get plenty of activities on here for your child, and it's really great that the seat twists around. That's quite an important part, so that they can entertain themselves. The advantages of having something like this, assuming you've got room, is they're a really great product to pop your baby in. Say you're in a kitchen and you need to do some washing up, something like that, and you wanted to entertain them, you can take this in with you, pop them in, have them right next to you. You can concentrate on what you're doing, and baby will be perfectly happy and entertained whilst they're using this. Now, MyChild is a really great brand. If it's not something you've heard of, I suggest you go and have a look at their website. They do all sorts of things. They do push chairs, they do high chairs, and as I said, they do a lot of these types of walkers, and there is loads of choice for you to choose from. It's nice quality, you know, as good as anything you're going to get in terms of a walker that's made of plastic, and it's not too big and bulky in comparison to some other bouncers that you might look at. There's lots of interesting things on there, so it's going to keep your child's interest. There'll always be something new for them to find when they're on there as well, and with the different melodies available, hopefully you'll get bored of the melodies, but your child won't. So that's the MyChild Roundabout 4-in-1 activity walker. You can see there's absolutely loads of stuff on there to keep your child entertained and happy. You can adjust it into 3 different heights. It's not a great difference, the height, but you can see here it's really easy to do. You would just push this back out and then pop it back into whatever height you want, and you'd need to do that with all of the legs. So we retail this at £99.99. And if you'd like any more information at all on this product, you can go on to buggybaby.co.uk.